Joining us on the phone is Fayette County Clerk Susan Lamb. She's here to give us some tips for in-person voting and to let us know how those absentee ballots are coming along. Hello, Clerk Lamb. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you all doing?
Oh, we're doing so good.
We're great.
We've
Thanks
already been talking about the election. We had a little spirited chat about straight ticket voting, so we're getting everybody ready to go.
So,
Great.
so Ms. Lamb, Election Day is tomorrow, but you've already been counting some votes. So, can you tell us how that's going?
Sure, absolutely. We have absentee ballots that have been requested. We've had over 6,640 absentee ballots requested, and we have been processing those here with our County Board of Election. And to date, we've processed probably over 4,000 of them, I believe. And
wow.
Also, we just got finished with early voting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday this past week and weekend, and we had over 16,000 early voters, which actually almost doubled our numbers from a 2022 general election, which I am thrilled with.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, so
we added our added 3 more locations for people to attend, and it just made it really awesome. So.
Very good, very good.
So tomorrow when people head out to the polls, what do people need to take with them in order to vote?
Yes, they need to take their driver's license. If they don't have a driver's license, a photo ID or a military ID, just make sure you take that, and then they can check you in, and then you can get your ballot and go to your privacy booth and vote.
All right. And, you know, what sort of outcome, as far as folks that are coming out, what are we expecting? How many are we expecting on this for the turnout?
You know, if this is all new to me as far as the trying to pick out the numbers and everything, but if the absentee process and the turnout for the early voting is any indication to me, I think we're going to have a really high turnout, in which that thrills me to no end, because I want everybody to exercise their right to vote. So I am very anxious, just as everybody else is, to see how people turn out at their precincts tomorrow. 286 precincts, 125 voting locations from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Show up, and if you're in line at 6 p.m. inside the building, you will still get to vote. So just don't forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it doesn't surprise me that we're seeing such large numbers in terms of early voting, absentee voting, because this particular election has been pretty spicy. That's my word that I like to use. And we know, at least in one of the races, the governor's race, is projected to be pretty close. And if it is really, really close, that could trigger an automatic recount because of a new law. Talk a little bit about that and what an automatic recount would look like and how that would happen.
Certainly. So we have actually been talking about this between the Secretary of State, the State Board of Elections, and the County Clerks Association, the Kentucky County Clerks Association, in order to have a solid plan in place. It is, if any of the state offices are within 0.5 or 0.5% of margin of numbers, then we will need to, on November 14th, that is the day that we can actually start a process to recount, and it would be a statewide recount. And so the recount has to be completed by the 29th of November. So there's a very tight timeline. So we've put in information as far as getting election officers in place so that we can figure out how to do this. Each machine, each scan machine, it's called a Verity scanner, at every polling location, that's where you take and you put your ballot in the machine, and the ballot disappears and calculates your votes, and then that goes down into this bin underneath there. Each one of those machines will have to have all of those ballots will have to be recounted. And so we're hoping that we can do it with a machine recount, And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But we are working collectively between the three entities to make sure that we have a seamless process from within the state for our outcomes.
Well, I know we have two more questions because look, this is good stuff. So this year we're doing paper ballots. We did it in the primary, and we're doing it again. Do people feel a little bit more secure in the paper ballots? And then Lisa has one for you after that.
I think that they should feel better. I mean, back in the old days when we just did the dial on the machine, you didn't have anything in hand, that you could see that it was all digital. And now you know that your paper ballot is in that bin below that scanner, and we have seals that have serial numbers, and I mean it's the confidentiality and the security is just amazing to me from everything I've been learning since I've been in this seat. Now this will be my second election, but I feel very comfortable and very confident with the security, and I like the paper ballots. So.
Yeah. And quick question for you. If there is a recount, if that is needed, when is the official announcement made?
Good question.
It would be on Tuesday, November 14th. It will be that State Board of Elections will convene in a meeting at 9 a.m. that morning. And we should know prior to that. All the county clerks are being asked to submit their forms with the SBE forms with the final numbers on it from each of the counties, so that
Excuse
that
me,
the State Board of Elections.
Clerk Lamb, one quick follow-up too, because that made me think.
Yeah.
So we know that November 14th would be the day for the recount. We got to go to commercial, but tell us real quick, when will we actually know who wins the race after that 29th deadline?
It would be like November 30th.
Okay, good. Thank you. Well, Fayette County Clerk Susan Lamb, thank you as always. Gosh, that was such good information, and I hope people go to the polls tomorrow in big numbers. And good